What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and more Birthright for you. Today we're taking a look at another realm in the Western Basin states called Treucht, which is a neutral good one and is actually recommended for PC use. Now, in contrast to some of the recent ones, this is a little bit on the smaller side, but still a decent amount of provinces. So, and as it says in the description there, right, these aren't necessarily fully ruled up in the sense that the law is a little bit sparse in parts. But again, given the geographic location, as it's a buffer zone here between Massenmarch and Muden, it makes sense. But that being said, there's the realm is rife with potential for a potential player. So jumping in here, the law, Belinda Aristotle. So she's, as you can see here, level 6 ranger as well, and has a very strong bloodline. 40, fantastic, right? Neutral good. She watches over the law in Treucht, such as it is. No one doubts, however, that Hap Prechlin Thelma, her mother, really guides the direction of the realm. So fun name there. We'll jump into that a little bit more. The temple side, so an emerging Urshe, Hap Prechlin Thelma est Chauchen. We're just reading it as is. Level 13 wizard, 15 priest, insane bloodline, strength here 62, and established her own religion many years ago. She temporarily forsook her wizardly powers and became a priestess. Now her combined abilities keep Treucht safe from its enemies. Her Treucht Chauchen, or Chauchen, however you want to pronounce it, coexists peacefully with the old father of forests. So it's not necessarily a religious conflict in the realm. So as we can see there is some split religion. Guilds, unfortunately, no guilds exist. So once Muden exported lumber from the Wild Realm, but that has been outlawed. The last guilds to be dismantled belonged to the Banshee, and again we'll get to her eventually, and they were removed only a few months ago. Now sources, Hap Prechlin Thelma controls also the majority of the magic sources in the land, has been working to increase her power, and there's a fair few sources there as well. So a rumor has it that she's negotiating with the Sayer of Coolivy to learn some way of maintaining magical power as civilization increases. The elves, of course, know the secret of populating a land without depleting the May Veil, which is the magical essence there. Now, so far, a lot of weird stuff as far as just, compared to a lot of the typical realms that we see, and it's just a very interesting situation. Now, resource-wise, it's a little bit lighter than some of the other Brecht realms we've seen. Okay amount of Regency accumulated and generated here. So 26 and 80 respectively, though, so you do have a pool to draw on. Although Belinda is technically a vassal of Thelma, the Hap Prechlin supplements her daughter's RP accumulation with her own. Treasury is not great, again, compared to the other Brecht realms we've seen, but still not terrible. 18 gold bars is a decent little war chest to start really growing the realm. Now, army-wise, though, it is absolutely minimal, very bare bones here. So, now, a large part of the protection can come from Hap Prechlin herself, or the Hap Prechlin, but you got 2 units of scouts and then 1 unit of what's called Treuchlin Gjarden, which is essentially their unique elite infantry unit. So let's jump into the regent situation and kind of start exploring some of this, some of these oddities. Belinda Aristotle, lawmaker of Treucht, considers herself guardian and guide to her people. The population is thinner than most of the Basin realms, but the communications network between small settlements and the capital is second to none. Belinda, a beautiful half-elf in her prime, is in position to rule Treucht for many years to come if nothing sinister occurs. Again, little campaign hook there. And as we can see, just as far as the province size, you got a couple of 4s in there, but then 2 3s and a 2, and the law isn't necessarily fully rolled up in all of those, as we can see. So Belinda may be the first true regent Treucht has ever had. When the realm became independent of Muden during Massenmarch's scepter uprising nearly 100 years ago, Belinda's mother fortified the realm but never really became a law holder. Now, when Belinda came of age, though, she gained control of some of the law in the region and began to civilize the area little by little. Treucht maintains its independence through Belinda and her mother's efforts. Again, given where they're sandwiched between other realms, that is the big challenge there. Now, the other important NPCs, as we've already seen and has been alluded to here, Hap Prechlin Thelma guards the small realm against outside meddling. Her mastery of realm and battle magics of both priestly and wizardly nature, which really makes her kind of unique, right? You do have in a lot of other realms powerful wizards, powerful priests, but it's always separate. Here you have it in one and the same and at a pretty high level too. So being able to get two sources of battle magic or realm magic is in one person is pretty potent. So, and as it says here, keeps out the mass and march invaders. Her nets of magical protection are rivaled only by those of Kulavi to the south with the Sayer. So, now Thelma herself is a mystery. So until she married an elf from the Birthright, whose name and heritage are unknown, she was a talented if reclusive wizard. She spent some years wandering the forest with her husband. Among those who know her, no doubt exists that he helped formulate her current attitude toward Treucht, the forest, and the gods of Cerulia. So, then, no one knows the fate of the husband, though, but shortly after Belinda was born, he disappeared. A few years later, Thelma took up the priesthood of the Treucht Chauchen, roughly translated as the Church of and for Treucht, and abolished the marketing of her, quote-unquote, forest. The last of the guild holdings were finally removed in the spring of last year. Those who study religion believe her church holds both Ruornel and Eric in high esteem, but neither is the center of her religion. So again, she's kind of formulating her own unique religion. In recent years, Thelma has helped her daughter to rise to power and then lead the emergent kingdom, while she's become more and more reclusive. Her transformation into an Urshe has actually begun. So when last seen by human eyes, she was a creature of translucence and light. She has come to be known as Aurichlacht, the Golden Light. So that is a little bit on her. Again, there's so much more we could go into on that, but again, a great campaign hook and really something that could be delved into as far as like adventure hooks, as well as maybe uncovering more of the past history of this area and some of the other notable characters here too. Now we do have more characters, more important NPCs. So Morkad Votenführer, which is a level 9 thief, neutral evil, does prowl the forests of Treucht, the last of the would-be guild holders. He has evaded capture and banishment by both Belinda and Thelma, and schemes to overthrow both. Unfortunately, the halflings' evil plans in this regard are not as impossible as they may seem. So that could be, certainly if you're looking to aid the realm, that could be a whole quest line, campaign line, is finding this last guilder and eliminating him. A little bit more on him. So exiled from the burrows over a dozen years ago, he has resurfaced within the Basin Kingdoms many times, always turning a profit. Now some say he's made an alliance with the Swordhawk and seeks to probe the power of the emerging Urshe through his endeavors. He's got a small band of evil men and goblins that consistently escape any nets set to capture them. Some say he has even greater understanding of the shadow world than most halflings, which, again, for those not knowing of the halfling abilities, that would make it a very elusive target and something that, a party would maybe have to work really hard at discovering why, he and his band are always able to essentially evade capture, maybe not really be found. So that could be something interesting as well. Now, certainly having a halfling in the party would maybe help with that, but then that could lead to some interesting crossovers again with the shadow world itself. Always something fun. Now, description of this realm: a man could walk from Troimar to the northern coast and never see another human, or he could stop at a dozen small settlements on his way, receiving hospitable greeting after hospitable greeting. If anything, Treucht is a haunting reminder of the elven legends of the time before humans came to Cerulia, except that humans take the place of elves in this realm. But it is a human kingdom with all the burdens and benefits, as we've seen many times over. Occasionally, foragers from Mass and March or Royal Guard cross the borders, and even the Mutant Knights have been known to violate the forest law. Conflicts almost always arise at these trespasses, but again, army itself, defenders are minimal, but that's where your powerful wizard/priest will come in. Now, cities, you have Troimar, which is a human city, and while it doesn't export any goods to the outside world, again, because of lack of guild activity and really an overall drive for commerce and trade, it does keep in contact with Muden and a few other realms through the what's called Muller River. Visitors to Troimar can easily be spotted. The people of Treucht are tall and willowy and seldom fall prey to human ailments or diseases. So something else that sets them apart. And again, an important distinction that should be made to players starting an adventure in here or wandering into the realm, and something they should be able to pick up on. Now, allies, there's no definite allies, but it supports the rebellion efforts of a few free folk in Massenmarch. It also maintains relations with Kulvi, as friendly as possible for a human kingdom, that is. And we've talked about that when we reviewed that realm. Now, because of its forest law, it maintains a watchful peace with its other neighbors. It does have some enemies, though. There's always those. So the Swordhawk is a natural enemy. Once Massenmarch was green and fertile, even more so than Treucht. The Lawmaker uses that kingdom as an example of what could happen to Treucht if the watchful border were ever broken. And then finally, some special conditions here. So having an Urshe, even an emerging Urshe, as a protector makes Treucht a kingdom to be reckoned with. Even though it has no real standing army, it does manage to discourage imperialist thoughts, even in the aggressive Swordhawk's mind. The fact that Treucht can sympathize with much of the rest of the world, the covert aid it lends to Massenmarch's rebels, etc., makes it dangerous to any realm or holder looking to expand at another's expense. Of course, if something were to happen to Lawmaker Belinda, who knows how let's read that again. If something were to happen to the Lawmaker Belinda, in other words, the ruler, who knows how Hap, Prechlin, Thelma might retaliate. So that could be, again, maybe a focus of the halfling here, so Morkad, maybe trying to take out or eliminate Belinda, which then maybe would drive her mother into some sort of rage and frenzy, and maybe, who knows how the DM would want to play, but the Urshe could certainly go on a rampage and maybe start trending towards a little bit more evil or aggressive actions. There's all kinds of ways that could go, but there's a lot of neat little things in this realm. So this is definitely an unusual one, and if you're a player looking for something different from basically any other realm that is out there that we've looked at so far, Treucht would fit that bill. A lot of interesting and unique conditions. You don't have too much in the way of resources. You don't really have much in the way of an army, just minuscule defense. Some interesting conditions here. There are no guilds, although to really start building an economy, there'd have to be some way of maybe approaching that, although again, nothing that would interfere with the forest. So it's just one of those where some of the things you need to do to grow and sort of build up the provinces and population have to be balanced with what that would mean as far as nature would go. So, and you have a very definite block there in the NPC who would, not tolerate any logging activity via guilds or anything like that. But maybe there would be other areas that they could develop as far as economy and trade goes if they wanted to do that, and maybe shore up some other allies. So, if you're looking at this as a campaign, running a campaign as far as running this realm. So again, several unique challenges. Certainly, the goal should be to grow in some aspects, and maybe forge some other alliances, make those stronger. Maybe some of those other sort of hooks here, like dealing with the last of the guild activity and that NPC. Maybe finding a way to more actively help those folks that are in Massenmarch and dealing with the Swordhawk, but again, that would certainly draw some major attention from the Swordhawk itself. So there's so many little things that you would have to consider in here as you would try to progress over a long period of time. There aren't necessarily any major existential issues here, although again, you do have plenty of enemies that could become a problem, and some of the other bordering realms really is just a matter of maintaining that, and maybe finding a way to grow without also drawing more envious attention from some of these other realms as well. So now if you're adventuring in here, this could be a really fun and unique place to do some adventuring in. Again, just given all the descriptions that we've seen here, and how that would really look, and what you could essentially pursue towards helping the realm, and how that could potentially be rewarded. So a lot of little neat hooks here. It's just definitely a challenge here as a realm to run. But let us know if you've played Treucht or adventured in and around there in your campaigns, and your thoughts on how you would approach that, either running it or what adventure hooks you might try to set for it. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.